All right, we got throwback uniforms and a throwback style of game. What a game it was. Let's talk about it. New episode of Locked On Nordiques coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. Joining me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. If you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with Zach and I one-on-one. Get your opinion on everything Avalanche related shared on this very podcast. We probably will get to the subtext people. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. So if we don't have enough time for the subtext people, we definitely will get to them because I want their voices to be heard. I want everybody's voice to be heard on this one because, yeah, while the Avs again come away with only a singular point in this, you just have to enjoy what a hockey game that was. From where it started to where it ended, you know, it's weird because like if you're a Hurricanes fan right now, like you're feeling good that you got the 2 points, but you can't feel that good that you blew the 4-1 lead and you had to scrap and claw to get that extra point. But if you're an Avs fan like we are, you feel good that you did get a point because you clawed back in from that 4-1 deficit. So thoughts?
But you also feel really bad about that first period, which they didn't even play that bad. It's just nothing went right. Like
they to me, they were like Carolina came out and was aggressive, and you knew that they would be because that's a Rod Brindamore team through and through. And it was like, no, I didn't think the Avs were playing poorly, but they made mistakes and Carolina capitalized on them. And that's the sign of a good team.
And that's exactly what the Avs did. Is it was just mistakes. It was a turnover that ended up in the back of the net. And then it's just like a bad pass that ends up setting up an odd man rush and it's, you know, I thought Wedgwood actually played it about as well as he could have given the circumstances. He probably could have. He wants a couple of those saves back for sure. But I mean, it was everything that just could have gone wrong. It felt like in the first did go wrong. I mean, you have a shot that goes in off of a guy's calf, and it's like, what are you going to do about that? That's just an unfortunate circumstance. But then second period comes around and they suddenly just turn it up. And from that point on, it felt like the Avs were sharper, more aggressive. I liked their game a lot more after the second period started.
Yeah, they were the better team for 50 of the 60 minutes, not including the overtime and all that stuff, right? But you had, and yeah, I just thought, I don't know, like I didn't feel like the Avs came out flat, but they came out it's like they didn't want to make a mistake, and in doing that, you're making mistakes. And it's almost like they just wanted to get the flow of the game and not take any chances. And you had some really bad passing. The Landeskog just blind pass on the power play, which led to Carolina goal. Like just stuff like that was just bad. But you got the goal, the first goal from Nichushkin, where it was like, okay, like I felt like because I didn't like how they were playing when Carolina got that first goal, which was a fantastic goal.
It was.
You know, Val gets the equalizer. I'm like, okay, that should like jumpstart them. And then it was just, you know, you did get some fluky goals, but that's as I said earlier, like, you know, the Avs were not playing their best in the beginning of this game, and Carolina pounced on them and made them pay and built up that lead. And when you're playing a team like that, you kind of, I mean, even though you're Avalanche, you feel like you're never out of it, but it's going to take extra effort to get back into this game. And they did. Like they fought. And if you're watching on YouTube, you see what the second bullet point is. We'll talk about that in a little bit, which is the power play. Because if we're not talking about I should say this, if we're talking about the power play in a different context, this is 2 points in the pocket of the Colorado Avalanche.
Done.
We'll get to that in a minute. But You have to be encouraged. Like, they continue to play good hockey, but it's amazing what just 10 minutes can do. For you've dug yourself a hole, and while you played very good hockey outside of that, you still only walk away with the 1 point where you were the better team. Now, this is twice now. The Dallas game, it's kind of the same thing. Not that you were clawing back from that game like you had to in this game, but you were the better team in that game. You were the better team in this game, and you came away with 1 point in both those games.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I really do think they outplayed, like you said, for at least 50 minutes of the 60 throughout just regulation. I thought again, so just to kind of touch on those turnovers, the notes that I took here was Gabe turnover, Kale turnover are 2 of your 4 goals in the first period that go against you, and they're just on 4. And Kale's turnover was just such a, like, again, kind of unfortunate. He's trying to lift it up to clear the zone, and it just catches the Whalers guy right, like, and then boom, he's got the puck right there. So very unfortunate. As you pointed out, the shorthanded goal with the Gabe pass that he was trying to do on the power play,
Yeah,
that was just weird. I don't know, like, that's just a miscommunication.
it was bad.
And so then all of a sudden you got a breakaway for Carolina, and it goes in the back of the net. I will say, on that power play, though, my goodness, Nathan McKinnon all of a sudden, like, he throws that reverse hit, or maybe it was right after the power play, actually, but he throws a reverse hit, comes back up into the center of the ice, or yeah, like center ice in between the circles, picks the puck back up, dangles a couple of guys, has a ridiculous shot, and just gets denied. And you're watching him and Val especially, who I'd definitely like to talk some about. Just those two were possessed, trying everything they could do to win that game. They were not going to let that slip through their fingers if they had any say about it.
Yeah.
And Val especially, man, my goodness.
This was the best game I've seen him play, and I've been singing his praises since day one of this season. I think he's played exceptional in multiple games this season, but this one in particular, this was his best game, not only of the season, but I don't want to say of his entire Avalanche career. I mean, because he's had some really good games, but good. Like, this is up there. This is up there. He played phenomenal. He gets that look. And we always say that with like Nathan McKinnon, and a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys get that look of just like, I am taking over. You're not going to deny me. And he did that multiple times over. Like when it was one of those things where, when there's a guy out there in any sport that's just feeling it, they're in a groove. And when they're out there, you feel like comfortable and you feel like something's going to happen good for our team. And that was how Nichushkin was playing. He was everywhere. He was flying around. I even thought Natchez was great in this game.
Natchez had a pretty solid game. Yeah,
he had that goal, and then the next shift defensively
played great.
We got a Marty Natchez back to back. Great forecheck. I don't know who it was on Carolina that was trying to get away from him, but he stuck on him. And he had him turn the puck over, and then he followed that up with a solid hit against. Like, guys wanted this game. You could see this was just not another game to them, and maybe it was the uniforms. Maybe it was uniforms that just brought the best out of these guys, or maybe it's like, hey, when we're going up against another team that is considered one of the better teams in the league, and they are in Carolina, you want to win those games too. So, even though this is game number, whatever we're at, 8-9 or whatever it is, they took this game a little bit differently. You could tell this had a lot of meaning to both these teams to want to win this game.
100%, because, and I think especially too, as we kind of talked about on the last episode, I think losing that game to Vegas lit a huge fire underneath Carolina, which caused them to come out. And that's why I think their first period was as good as they were. But they also showed that through the whole game. Their forecheck was wicked aggressive. They were constantly and they were in your face in their own zone. Like, I noticed so many different times where they had 2 guys on you at a time, just nonstop. And so hats off to them, because as we've said many times, it's not just the Avalanche out there. The Avs didn't lose because the Avs lost. The Avs lost because couple of mistakes they made, and the other team is playing to win, and they played really well. So got to give them some recognition there as well.
Absolutely.
Marty Necas, just real quick before I hit a little bit on Val, how does he get those shots in? That's 2 games in a row where he puts a shot in basically no space at all.
Yep.
And it goes in, and it's from about the same-ish area, squeezes it in between the goaltender and the post to get it into the back of the net. Absolutely gorgeous. Like, that guy he's a good shot.
Oh yeah, and when you have a goalie like Freddie Anderson was, really locked in. I mean, he faced 48 shots.
I know.
And it just sheer volume is, you feel good. Like, hey, if we can get that many shots on, some got to trickle in. And they did. You got 4 against him, but it took 48 to get 4 past him.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, just to kind of go to Wedgwood, I don't think, like, to me, that was just, we're pulling him just to try to get something going.
Exactly.
It was not against him. There was good shots against him and fluky ones that bounce off people. It wasn't we're pulling you because you don't have it today. We're pulling you just to try to ignite something. And give Trent Miner a ton of credit. Like, in the beginning, he didn't face a ton of shots. He did at the end, and he had to kill off power plays at the end and in overtime. So that's when he stood up. So, that's what the backup is in there to do when the starter gets pulled. Don't make it worse. And he didn't. He kept it where it needed to be. He had enough time to climb back into this thing, and the Avs did that. So I'm not putting any of the blame on Wedgwood. It was just a pull to get something ignited. It took the rest of the game to get there, but they did. And you gave some credit to Miner too.
Yeah, absolutely. He played spectacular, I think, for what he was asked to do. The Avs stepped up and kept the shots from going against him too much in the second. But like you said, in the third, especially towards the end of the game, when you finally tie it up and then you let up the power or the penalty, you take a penalty, you put yourself on the penalty kill, and you're trying everything you can to just maintain through the game. And Trent Miner makes some good saves to send it to overtime and secure that point. So huge props to him.
All right. Well, let's get a first break in. And then we have to talk about this power play. I know we probably don't want to, but we kind of have to when it went what it went. Yeah, I think that's the only thing you can say is just let out a sigh. Is where they're going right now. So let's get a break in. We'll talk about that on the other side of it. All right, let's hear from Rugiet. Let's get real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything, and we've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes, but when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. So visit rugiet.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off of your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. Don't forget to use that promo code LockedOnNHL so they know that we sent you to them. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. Also brought to you by Game Time. Hockey season is here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's get real. Getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team, and that's where Game Time comes in. The app gives all you fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, that code is LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go with Game Time. All right, Zach. Power play it's just got to get fixed, man. Like, you go 1 for 8 in this game. You might not get another game this season where you get 8 power plays. You might not. If you do, it might be 1. But that's just as much as I want to sit here and like sing the praises of how well they played for, 90% of that game and how you clawed back into it and how that's a good team that you had to claw back and get back into it. Like I said in the beginning, like we are not sitting here. We could have started recording this episode a little bit earlier because this game would have been over. Like
Right.
it's easy 2 points if you can just get a normal percentage on a power play to
Right.
go 1 for 8 with the talent you have on this team is inexcusable to me.
Val's got to be on the top power play unit. I think you have to have Valeri Nichushkin on that unit. First
Yeah.
off, when he drew that penalty. I don't think it was the one he scored on. It was before. I think he scored on the next power play. But when he got that puck and that was the barrel down the ice, gets grabbed from behind. I honestly thought he was going to score it regardless of getting grabbed from behind, and draws the penalty there. And then I think it was after that, it was the next power play after that where they finally put him on the top power play unit.
It was the power play coming into the third period because that one carried over.
Yeah.
So I believe it was that one.
Actually, it might be the same power play.
Was
then.
it?
And then
yeah, because there was one that
he
carried over.
But then it was the start of the third when he got the nod there.
I got to look at the time because, like I said, we're just recording this right after. So whenever it was, doesn't matter. It was. I know it was in the third period, but like they changed things up. They brought him in
later in the third.
Okay, so
it was later in the third. He started the one at the third period, but the one that he scored on was at 6:42 left in the third.
That's what I'm thinking.
Was when the penalty was called.
They brought him in on the third. Okay, go ahead.
But what you saw there in the very beginning of the third period, you see him right up net front presence, and instantly he's got a shot on net on the power play. Within 3 seconds of the period starting, it felt like.
Yep.
And then you get the second power play, your seventh rather power play, second of the period, I think, later on. And he's again net front presence. You got Kale gets it up to Olofsson. Olofsson puts it towards the net. Valeri Nichushkin is there. He's able to knock it home. I think you need him on the top power play unit. Him or Gabe. One of the two.
I would go him.
I would go him right now as well.
Yeah.
But Gabe's another guy who's like just drawn to that net front, and you need somebody who does that. And it works so well with him on there. I thought Olofsson had a great shot. I think he plays really well. I'm okay with Nichus maybe being second power play unit. I think they might need a guy that's speed, but I'm okay with Olofsson going down there. I don't know how you rearrange it. I just know you have to have Big Val on that top unit.
Because it gives a different look. And nothing against Lehkonen. He is very good at the net front too. But when it's, power play, Val is stronger than Lehkonen. And he can clean up a little bit better than Lehkonen can. So yeah, I to me, this is not a coaching thing. I don't have a problem with how the power play looks. I've been saying this for a few games now. It comes down to production. It comes down, and that's on the players. Like if you're drawing up poor plays and you're struggling to gain the zone and it's just constant turnovers and there's no cohesion on offense, like keeping the puck in the offensive zone, like then that's not getting fixed, then that's on coaching. That's not what's happening. They're gaining the zone. They're having good offensive possessions. This is just not putting the puck in the net. That's not on coaches. You're getting shots. I think I'm kind of just going off the cuff here, but I know you had 8 of them. But maybe I missed one in here. If I did, I'm counting 11 shots on goal during the power plays.
I didn't have a tally of that. I just
come on, guys. You know what I mean? So it's
2 or 3 per power play minimum. 2 or 3 shots on goal minimum, you would think, with the talent that you have. So 11 means that you had like 3 power plays that you took 2 shots. That's
I mean, but you got I mean, it's 11 is not bad. I mean, at least you have more shots on goal than power plays. I mean, I'm happy with that. That's fair. But
because in years past they would not have. So
right, yeah. So you're doesn't mean like you're getting the shots. You're getting them. They're just not going in. So, and I think a big part of that is you don't have the body like Val there to do some cleanup work. So that's changing. Like the only power play goal you got was from him, and after you changed it in the third period, that's going to be a change going forward. And you know what? Like, okay, it like I think we're at a point here. We've played enough games. You haven't had the results where now is the time to make the change. If going forward they didn't make any changes and it's like we're still going back to that well, I'd have some problems with it. So okay, like we gave it first few weeks of the season, it was even if it was like up and down, like okay, like hey, we're okay, we're getting some production out of it. You're getting nothing out of it, and amazingly, Carolina has a worse power play than you do somehow.
I know,
like that's amazing. Two of the best teams in the league can't figure out the power play.
It does make you feel a little better about the Avs, though.
It does. It really
does. Like when it's like when you go that up.
Like you have kids. Yours is a little bit older than mine, but like when you go out and you see other kids misbehaving, you're like, I feel for you parents, but I'm happy to see that. So it's like I'm happy to see someone else struggling on the power play, maybe worse than the Avalanche.
Especially a team that's as talented as Carolina is. It really does make me feel better.
Well,
like, okay.
So the end of this game, with the power plays and stuff like that, and as bad as Carolina is on the power play, even though they were getting them, they had power plays at the end of regulation in the overtime. You're like, I'm not relying on this 9% that they've scored on power plays right now and just be like, oh, no problem. No, like I'm like, this will be the one where they figure it out. Yeah. You know what I mean? But give the Avs credit. That's the one thing that is doing well is the penalty kill for the
penalty kill sharp. Well. Yeah,
very good.
Really sharp.
But you gave up your first shorthanded goal of the year. You had two shorthanded opportunities, like bang bang, back to back, that you couldn't find the net. Give Freddie Anderson some credit for that, but those are the ones you just want to bury because those are just energy right there.
I was really hoping that in the overtime we'd get possession of the puck and then score a shorthanded overtime goal to end it, and it would be Nichushkin, and that would just be the best poetry ever. And it didn't happen that way. I mean, they probably should have had. This is where you need Logan O'Connor when you need a shorthanded goal. Man. You got to have LOC back on the ice. Yeah, can't wait to have him back, but. No, I mean, this whole game, it is frustrating to lose as we did, but like you were saying, I don't feel horrible leaving it for basically everything that's not named the power play.
Carolina 0 for 5 on the power play. Yep. So both of these teams 1 for 13 on the power. Just imagine like the score. I mean, it was 5-4. Just imagine what the score could have been if both these power plays are clicking. It was going to be like a 8-7 game if both power plays were mid-season form. So
style game that Goulet was talking about.
Yeah. We did get some, you saw in the third things change up a little bit. I want to get to that. And then we got to bring up that just horrific call. Didn't really decide anything, but I just feel like
it didn't.
Talk about it. So, all right, let's get a last break in, and we got more to talk about on the other end of that. FanDuel, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. New customers right now can bet that $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Still feeling good about the Broncos, sir, for this week?
Still feeling they'll pull it off. Okay. Yeah, I think they'll win.
All right. So then put that $5 down on the Broncos, and if it doesn't win, you can just come back here and blame Zach for that. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today. Get started with that $5 bet on the Denver Broncos. So you saw some things changing a little bit in the third period. Yes, the power play definitely. You saw Gavin Brindley jumping up a little bit.
He looked pretty good.
He's fun. He is a fun little bowling ball. And they put him up. I saw him. I think he was with on the second line with Nelson and Landeskog. I don't know if that was no. It couldn't have been a mix up just of
unless he
staying out there for too long. I don't know. I think Bednar shifted things up for a little while. It wasn't too long. Let me see. Got it up on. So he was with Landeskog, Nelson, and Brindley. Time on ice 2:18.
Okay,
So that's a few shifts. That's a few shifts. And I'm okay with that. Like his effort level knows no bounds. He's just so much fun to watch.
Just a pure ball of energy out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was zipping around the ice. He's throwing his body around. He's not a huge guy, but he's not afraid to do it. His forecheck's aggressive. You're watching him jump into the play any opportunity that he gets, and I love it. I'm here for it. That kid has decided that he will make sure he has a permanent spot on this roster. And there's no way I could see him not having a spot on the roster especially after he played that way today. He was excellent.
He was everywhere. I'm just looking at kind of stats here on a few different sites. Man, I just wish you could go back and replay the start of this game. Because everything is just favoring the Avs here. Your 5-on-5, or actually all your situations, 81-54, Corsi for, Corsi against in favor of the Avs. High danger chances 19-10, expected goal percentage 64%. Let's see, expected goals. What are the expected goals for this game? Because they're probably. Where are we here? 4.5 for Carolina, 5 3/4 for the Avs, so almost 6. So, and that kind of goes to like that. That's the beginning, the first period. And I put it up on social media, like that first period for Scott Wedgwood, you didn't make it through the first period. You made it through 13 and a half minutes, 6 high danger chances, or not chances, shots.
Yeah.
6. That is more than a game's worth in a half a period. And they scored 3 high danger goals on 6 high danger shots. So things were just fluky for the Avs in the beginning. So man, I just wish you go back and replay the start of this, because the Avs, they looked good. They looked good for the majority of this game.
They really did.
Right.
I agree. If you could redo that start and just clean up 2 or 3 of the mistakes, just take away 2 of the turnovers, and it's a whole different game. And score on the power play.
Deserve to win-o-meter. I don't know if you checked that or not.
Certainly in our favor. Yep. I was watching that a bit. Yep.
62% favors the Avs. And we have some fun with that. But the thing, like I say, if people that don't know, over in Money Puck, the deserve to win-o-meter simulates this game 1,000 times, incorporating average goaltending. Yeah. If you got average goaltending, and I'm not putting the blame on Wedgwood here. I'm just saying, if average goaltending where you get some stops here, that game is all Avs. It's all Avs. So, who else we got here? And anybody that stood out for you outside of the guys that we kind of already mentioned? If you go over to Hockey Stat Cards, as far as game scores for each of the top 2 players in this game, Josh Manson had the best game score, 3.08. Number 2, Sam Malinsky, 2.16. So your 2 defenders were your 2 best players, according to Hockey Stat Cards.
Josh Manson was a name that I wrote down a couple of times, because what were those moves? Like, you're Josh Manson. How are you dangling people like this? It was crazy to see it.
He pulls that stuff out every once in a while, and you're like, "Whoa, dude, where is this coming from?"
But I even I think I put it out on Twitter at the same time. It's like he just straight embarrassed a guy, just made a guy spin all the way around and fall over.
Yeah,
he should have scored. Like, that should have been his goal, just purely based on that move. So Josh Manson had a great game. I thought,
and actually, your 3rd best player was another defender. Brent Burns. And I thought he played a good game. That nice ceremony before the game, 1,500 games. So you had that. So he played a good game. And you had, so I'm looking on it. Let's see. Jack Drury's down here a little bit. Again, I thought he played a good game. I can't really get on anybody too much. Wow, Taves is a really low number here.
For defense, yeah.
Yeah. But that call on Jack Drury, I'm just bringing it up because it was so horribly bad. And it was at a point in the game that could have decided it. It gave Carolina a power play. And what are you calling on him? Like, what was the penalty? I never even looked it up to see what was it holding on him.
That call, it was holding, but that one didn't actually give him the penalty. They got a power play off of that. Didn't give him the power play. The power play came from a call right before that. That was each of them. So Drury and the other guy went off, and then they both Carolina's player went off.
Yes,
and then right after that was another call that put the Avs back on the penalty kill.
Right.
And I don't remember who that one was, but yeah, the Drury call, I didn't understand that at all either. Carolina's player comes up behind him, gets his arm around his arm, pulls him backwards. Drury falls down, and the ref's like, "Yeah, both of you are holding."
I was holding. What are you talking about, man? Like, I like, you see it all the time when a call goes against your team or any whatever. You always hear that's the worst call I've ever seen, and that phrase just gets thrown out there like way too much. It kind of loses its value. That genuinely was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. Like, I don't know how you're calling holding on a guy who's in front of the other guy who's holding him.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. I don't want to dwell on it because, you know, it didn't. If it led to a goal, if it led to a Carolina goal, I go back to what I said yesterday. If that decided the Stanley Cup,
right,
we'd be
100%.
up in arms about it. But so that's why I'm waiting till the end of this episode to talk about it. Not, you know, doing
legitimately believe that the referees just said we can't give them another power play. We have to keep this like closer in the power play differential. It's the only thing I can figure.
Wow. And then before we get to our sound check, you know, we just touched on it a little bit throughout the episode, just because the game was so good. The uniforms were just aces.
Oh my gosh.
Absolute aces. Like, I was having moments of go to these full time, guys. I was having moments of like, I wouldn't mind watching. And I absolutely love the Avalanche colors, love their logo. Just everything about it is just perfect. But I was watching this, and maybe it was just because it's so new, or not new, but brought back.
Yeah. I'm
like, man, these are just a thing of beauty. I wouldn't mind playing these every day.
They're fantastic. I don't think they should be in every day. I like them being I like this limited run of them. I think that makes them even more special. But oh my gosh, it did. It looked so good. And again, shout out to Altitude. I don't remember if I told you this before we hit record or if I said it on the air already, but shout out to Altitude for putting together such a cool intro.
It was great.
And like making it totally retro, getting Nordiques
grainy and everything. Like,
oh, it was so good. I appreciated everything about that.
Totally agree. All right, so let's wrap this thing up with our sound check. This is where Zach and I each pick a song that summarizes the most recent game. Put these songs up on a playlist over on Spotify and YouTube Music. So follow along. You just search LOA Soundtrack Volume number 5 is what these ones go on. If you want to go follow 1 through 4, please feel free to do that. These ones all go on Volume number 5. What do you got for this one, sir?
This is a song from a band called the Decemberists. It's got a sort of see, I thought you would have. I'm trying to pull stuff that I don't think people are going to know as much, and you're like, got it, totally.
Love Decemberists, yeah.
So I went with the Mariners' Revenge song because I thought that fit pretty well. Playing the Whalers, I'm going to go with the Mariners' Revenge song.
All right. I've just brought up subtext too. See if anybody up there has. Brandon put up one. Leave Me and Leave the Bottle Too by Grandpa's Cough Medicine.
Okay.
Them I don't know. I don't think I know Grandpa's Cough Medicine.
I do. They're fun.
Or it could be one of those things where it's like, if I hear it, I'll know it. But
possible.
Let's see. So Madam Battle Axe says, since these teams last played in 1995 in an honor of the power play, no doubt Tragic Kingdom. Well, Tragic Kingdom is the name of the album. Is there a name of a song on that album called Tragic Kingdom? I don't know.
That's a good question. No
I don't
Doubt
know.
was never really my jam.
No, me neither. Just, whatever was on the radio. But I know that was the name of the album.
Yep. Nope. Definitely the name of a song on there.
There is a song? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So good call.
That is a good one. So I'm going to go with, it like a long time coming for these uniforms, at least for the Nordiques one. Just everything we went through with that. And we finally get the game that they're wearing them. The added bonus of the Carolina Hurricanes wearing the Whalers ones. Then the game was played, and the game was spectacular.
Yeah.
So just everything, all inclusive, all of that, especially for today. I'm going with the Talking Heads.
Okay.
What a day that was.
All right. I like it.
Because it was, man. Like, it's so weird sitting here, like, feeling okay over technically a loss. But it was. I feel worse about the Mammoth loss because that was in overtime. These shootout ones, I got to be honest with you, man. Like, in the shootouts, I'm barely watching. I'm listening, but I'm not watching intently. I kind of have my head down, listening. Just getting graphics and stuff together and for recording. And I don't even really pay attention to the shootout because it's almost like the game's already over to me.
It's like the old NFL overtime where whoever won the coin flip won the game.
It's over. Right.
Like, so it feels like it boils down to a coin flip sometimes.
Yeah.
And but so I get that. I still stare at it because I really like watching them. Ever since I used to not really pay attention to him that much until TJ Oshie in the Olympics. And his were just so pretty there.
Awesome.
I always watch the shootouts now.
That was a good one.
This is
legendary. Legendary. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice to come out on top of this because we're calling this one an early season classic. It's nice when you come out on top of those ones, but still just a great game to watch. Great game to watch. So
Stanley Cup final preview definitely feels that way.
Now the Avs head east back to back on the weekend.
Yep.
Like I said, the Sunday game, I will be there. So if anyone's going to Jersey for the day, let me know. We'll meet up.
Stop in and say hi.
That's right. So, all right, it's going to wrap it up for today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. For Mr. Zach Pearson, I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast, and you made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby's that much closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche / Quebec Nordiques.